Okay, it's been a while, and I said it will be a beautiful time for me to conduct a live video session. So I'm trying to keep this door shut. So I'll just wait for a while before I start my discussion today. Yes, yes. It's not been very long. This just a short while, but it's just been a brief while, not that long. But I just thought it wiser. It would be good for me to conduct this live video session today. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's a brilliant idea for me to conduct this live video, or do you think it's not brilliant? I think it's brilliant because most of the live videos that I conduct, I talk about relationship and marriages, and some of us are lucky enough to have very good relationships, but some of us struggle in some of our relationship, and that is why I'm conducting this live video session today. So while I'm waiting for people to tune in, hopefully people would come tuning in soon. It takes about approximately 4 minutes that people start tuning in when I start a live video session. So I'll just be patient, okay, and hopeful that people will start tuning in. And for today, I think I should shift closer. Yes, I think this is better. I have my, okay, I wanted to, well, my phone is charging, so I just have to shift closer and closer because the phone is charging. So while I'm waiting for people to tune in, I'll be having my delicious drink. Okay. There's this shop nearby that sells wine I like at a very affordable price. Because initially what I do, I have to take a long walk to go get the wine. But now, luckily for me, I take the long walks before now because I get the wine relatively cheap somewhere else. But luckily for me, the shop near to where I stay right now sells very good wine at an affordable price. So I am so happy about it. So I don't need to take such a long walk to go get an affordable priced wine. So welcome to the Alice McBlain lifestyle via my YouTube channel, okay? I like to keep it simple. I like everyone to understand my video creations, the verbal utterance that I put out there. Okay, so what I like is I like to make sure that everything I say is very inspirational and very useful to the viewers and the listeners. So if you're watching this live video session and you're putting comments that are very good, I will say thank you so much. And yeah, I appreciate it. When you drop very good comments, I do appreciate it. But I must warn you, if I'm conducting a live video session and you drop a very disgusting and irritable comment, what I will do is I will simply block you from my YouTube channel. So the choice is yours. Okay. Now, if you're dropping comments of saying hi and all that, yeah, thank you very much. I'm receiving a comment. I think the comment has come more than once, like asking, what are we doing here? So what I am conducting is a live video session, and I'll be centering the live video session about relationship and marriages. Excuse me for a moment. Just a moment, okay? That's what I will be doing. I'm just centering the discussion on relationship and marriage because we sometimes as adults get into relationship and get into marriages, and there are some certain indicators and signals that I believe through research I should share with you. Give me a moment, please. Please, okay? As a full grown adult, it is important that you understand how to communicate in public, what to say and what not to say. However, at your discretion, if you decide not to say the proper things, then you will, of course, listen, okay? There's something I want to say here, right? You asked a question. You said, why are we here? And I've been kind enough to tell you that the reason why I'm conducting this live video session is to discuss about relationship and marriages. So if you're saying that it's been about 10, did you say 10 seconds? Fair enough, 10 seconds. Well, some have their own desires, how they would like a live video session to be or be conducted. So if you're not comfortable with my own method of delivering my own verbal utterance and explaining to you what my findings are about relationship and marriages, foreseeable indicators, signs that you should be aware of, then if you're not comfortable with it, yeah, politely I'll just say take a walk, okay? You don't need to stress yourself about watching a video if you're not comfortable with it. I don't agree with that. If I'm watching a video, if I'm not comfortable with it, then I'll just take a walk, all right? But for your good comments, I say thank you, but you know, I have a pace that I deliver my live video session, and I would not allow anybody rush me. The reason I deliver my live video session at a certain pace is in order for people that are tuning in to be able to follow up. So if it's not according to your requirements, then kindly please take a walk. Cheers. But if you want to be patient to listen, that's fine. So when we get into relationship and marriages, okay, we fall in love with people, okay, they tell us what we want to hear, and then we get either motivated or inspired about what we've heard from them, and then gradually that grows into us building a strong emotional connection with people. Then we begin to trust them, then we begin to share what we feel with them. But it is very important that as adults, when you're in a marriage or a relationship, that you focus, okay? Focus on the growth and the development of that relationship. It's very important. I'm going to have a sip of this. I need it right now. I need it right now, okay? If you are in a relationship with someone and the relationship has gone for a while, there are some indicators that you should be aware of, so that when they start coming up, you know how to attend to them at your own discretion. Now, as a CPD certified professional life coach, I have had the opportunity to discuss with different people from diverse cultural backgrounds, okay? I wouldn't be going into much detail or elaborating on what I just said, but I would give some explanation of some lived experiences. And the reason that I'll be giving this explanation is that the people that have shared it with me said I could share the lived experience anonymously to somebody, so that somebody perhaps could learn from their own mistakes and not make the same mistake. It is important that when you're in a relationship with someone, okay, you recognize that you are not meant to be fully or solely dependent on your partner, because it could most times or sometimes have a catastrophic effect on your mental well-being or your emotional state. So when you're dating somebody or you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to understand that sometimes when you meet people, okay, understand this, you cannot fully comprehend and understand what that person is thinking. What you rely on as an individual, or what is the human instinct, is that you're reliant on what they tell you. You're reliant on their actions and their words. However, words sometimes could be deceptive. So you have to be aware that just because somebody says they love you might not 100% mean that they in fact really love you. So this is what I want us to most likely be able to comprehend and understand. It helps. Okay. Now I did have the opportunity to speak to somebody, and the person told me that she met somebody, and the person told her how much he loved her, and they were so good together, and they scheduled a wedding date. As time went on, prior to the wedding date, 2 months before, she started observing some attitudes that she was uncomfortable with. She tried discussing with her partner, but he wasn't ready to, discuss about it properly. He felt he wasn't doing anything wrong. Now, because she had invested so much energy, so much time, so much emotions in that relationship, okay, she found it very difficult to call off the wedding date. Now, there were already foreseeable signs that the partner that she was about to get married to was becoming gradually aggressive, and his communication approach, which was good when they first met, began to decline. And by decline, I mean that good communication approach and method that he used to implement while they were in the relationship prior to having scheduled a marriage date, that good behavioral conduct, that good communication was no longer there. And even if it was there, in between, as some may say, switch. He would just switch like that and get into aggression. The lady explained to me that she had dedicated so much time into loving him, and she found it so difficult to call off the wedding date. Gradually things got worse, and couple of days to the wedding was called off. Okay? Yes, it was called off because they had irreconcilable differences. There was no point for it, okay? She didn't see the point. What will be the point in getting married to somebody that will become so aggressive, lack of proper communication, annoyance in a marriage, and come to think of it, a marriage most times is an indicator that two people come together and want to, bring about offsprings. And what's going to happen if such offsprings witness such aggression? Luckily for her, she called off the marriage date. Said, I don't want you anymore. Go your way and I'll go my way and we'll be just fine. So that's what happened. Okay? That is exactly what happened. Now, she took a bold step by walking out of a relationship that has showed clear indicators that it's not going to work, and she did a clever thing. However, when it was time for her to recuperate, because some people believe that after a relationship breakdown, after you say your goodbyes, then there comes a moment of reflection and there is need for recuperation. Now, this is the part that people sometimes are able to recuperate in a good way, but sometimes it takes a very long time. So today, in this live video session, I'll be telling you about different ways that you could recuperate after a relationship breakdown. because it is important. Recuperation really helps in terms of emotional stability and emotional growth. Anyway, reflecting back to the story that I was saying. So, because she had invested so much time, she was bold, confident enough to walk out of all the arrangements. You know, when you're doing wedding, you have to arrange the event planner. There's so lot. You have to bake a cake and all that. So all that preparation that has been put in place, she had to start contacting people, canceling the arrangements, and some people will not even give a refund. That is it. Some people will not give a refund because there are some event planners that they take money up front, maybe half payment, then on the day of the wedding, you completion of their work service, you now have to pay for the service, of course, because nowadays I wouldn't think a professional will work for free, okay, except they are very, like, very good and they just feel like delivering service to humanity. Anyway, when she walked out of all these arrangements, which was relatively a very clever decision, now she was struggling on how to recuperate. To her partner, who had acted so unfairly to her, he thought she was fine because that was the impression that she gave to him. That was the impression that she gave her relatives, because she didn't want her relatives to bother much about her. She didn't want people to think about her. She felt it would be so much stress putting on people. So she didn't want all that. So she was struggling on how to recuperate. So she came to me, Coach. This is the case scenario. How do I recuperate? And that is when the discussion began. So I tried to explain to her the process of recuperation takes a lot. And somebody that wants to recuperate has to be ready for it. Because if you're not ready for recuperation, it's very difficult to recuperate. It's very difficult for you to enjoy yourself without having to reflect that sometimes maybe you should go back to that relationship that didn't work and all that. It takes a very long time. So the good stages of recuperation is that you have to learn to love yourself. That's the step number one. Number two, you have to realize that before you started that connection with your partner with whom you've just left, you had a life, you had a sense of belonging. So you need to understand these key things, and that is how you recuperate. And you don't just want to be in your house thinking constantly about the relationship, what you should have done better, or what you maybe didn't do. There's no need for all that. I want you most likely to be able to accept. Now that's the third one. Accept that the relationship had a lot of flaws, a lot of errors, and there was irreconcilable differences. And I want you to understand that within you, that relationship is not good for you. So every day when you wake up, if you're able to assimilate such thoughts, okay, get that thinking and understanding that you tried your best in that relationship and it didn't work, okay? So that is what I want you to do. Do not constantly keep on blaming yourself why a relationship broke down when you know that you gave it your very best, but your partner was not supportive, was not contributing in a good way. So just learn how to recuperate. You need to, even if it means, okay, like if you're walking, right, if you can afford this technique, this is a very, very good technique on how to recuperate, okay? It's just one amongst the variable options of recuperation. So, for instance, if you're walking and maybe there was that particular time in the week, because some couples have sometimes days when they see, maybe they want to go out for dinner, they want to go watch the karaoke, maybe they want to go to the library. People have different activities that as a couple they like to engage in. So let's say, for instance, while you were in the relationship, with that your partner, whereby you've said goodbye to them. And yeah, so if you're in, if that day comes, let's say the day is Thursday, maybe you usually go out on Thursday to go sing karaoke, for instance. So as the clock ticks, maybe it is 8 p.m., and that is the usual time when you and your then lovebird will go out for a bit of singing, dancing, and just have a social fun. Then at that particular moment in time, because this is what I'm trying to tell you, is just a brain work mechanism that works, and this is lived experiences. This recuperation technique has worked with various people that were in similar case scenario when they were trying to recuperate. So when it's Thursday, when it's approximately same time when yourself and your partner would go out and have some form of relaxation in a social gathering, okay? Now that is the time, okay, that you may decide, okay, to do something in your house. You may decide to cook a meal, okay, that might take a lot of your time. You could get a cookery book, all right, to make it easier for those of us that are not cooks. You get a cookery book, okay, or you get a baking book, okay. When you get it, now make sure that you're following the recipe detail by detail and try to get it right, okay. Eventually. Well, if you're not a certified chef or you're not a professional cook, okay, or if cooking is not your hobby, now that's not a problem, okay. I'm just telling you that you should learn to do an activity, a very good activity, okay, same time when yourself and your partner would usually go out while the relationship was so cozy for both of you. That's how you recuperate. So what that does is that when you repeatedly do this at similar times when you usually spend with your partner, what it does for you is that it helps you to recuperate. So what that happens, when that happens, okay, what happens is that maybe you do it for a period of 3 weeks, okay? In the fourth week, you realize that you are always prompted within you to try out a new recipe technique. So that's how it works. So if you don't do activities sometimes, what happens is when it gets to that time when yourself and your partner usually go out for that social gathering, have a lot of fun together, even though you've walked out of that relationship, there will be sometimes that moment of reflection because you're not engaged in doing any activity. Then you start to reminisce, you start to think about the experiences that you have shared with your partner. And so what happens is a relationship that was not so good, because you're constantly thinking of some pleasant moments that you've shared with your partner, then you begin to doubt your decision. You begin to say, okay, maybe we could work it out, even though you know within you that it's not going to work. So always try to do an activity, okay, during that period that yourself and your partner will go out, have a bit of enjoyment or lots of enjoyment. Use that time now to recuperate, okay. This is a recuperation technique, all right. Use that time to recuperate. That's it. It works. It just works. You find out that after a while, anytime it's getting close to that time, you're no longer thinking about that your partner that you've walked away from. You're no longer thinking about those activities that you used to do together, okay. You're now thinking about, how can I be a good cook? Did I get the recipe right the previous time I tried it? Okay, let me try it again. So what happens is your attention or your focus on reflecting on a relationship that is not very good for you has been positively diverted to a better activity that will profit you and make your skills in cooking stronger. There are other activities that you could do if you can afford it, of course. Somebody also tried this technique, okay? Listen to this. What they did was go to the shop, okay? Get a new paint, get brush, get all the safety things that they need, and they started painting. And the painting took ages. So each time or each day, it was that day when themselves and their partner usually would go out. What they did was they dedicated that time instead of just sitting, thinking, worrying, or what's my partner doing? Is my partner with somebody else? They just started painting. Okay? And that was able to make them recuperate. And as time went on, they found out that they were no longer reflecting on the moments that they've shared with their partner. Because when you constantly, okay, constantly thinking about a partner that you've walked away from, then because of the way the mind works, you start to reflect on some very good moments that both of you have shared. And a relationship that has shown you clear indications of not working, most times it doesn't work, except the two partners are willing to come together collaboratively and find solutions and correct each other's mistakes and flaws. So that is it. That is how you recuperate. Okay? That's it. So I'll just sit here for a while and just wait if somebody else will tune in. The name of my YouTube channel is Alice McLean Lifestyle. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Yes or no? If you haven't, please go and subscribe right now. About this live video session, okay? What I've noticed about live video sessions on my YouTube channel is that I am not able to access them immediately after I conclude the live video session. When I am able to view them, it's just the next day. So this live video session that I'm conducting right now, I think I'll only be able to view it tomorrow. Okay? Recuperation is good. That's how you recuperate. For some reasons, I won't tell you what's happening, but give me a minute, alright? Give me a minute. It's been a long day without you, my friend. But I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. It's a long day from where we began. I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Cheers. Wine tastes good. I love it. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and right, I'll try to do more live videos, but for now I'll just say thank you, cheers, bye bye, bye.